It's time to look at anti-competitive marketing and the consumer. We'll be looking into marketing as a tool of product promotion and its impact on consumers, its advantages, its disadvantages, and recent trends. Recently, particularly in the beverage industry, there have been series of ambush marketing which have been left unrestrained by relevant regulatory bodies. And so we have in the studio this morning the spokesman, Consumer Rights Advocacy Network, Voki Igoroje.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers. I'm happy to be here.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, now, your organization has embarked on a campaign against pirate marketing, talking about two heavyweights in the industry. What's your concern about this?
Well, first of all, your opening statement, you did talk about unscrupulous ambush marketing. That's what I would like to really speak on. Now, first of all, I want to say this, that in every business, marketing is always a strategy for businesses to take advantage of, for them to be able to explore and get the market share. They do utilize different strategies, different methods, all for them to have an advantage over their competitor. This is the normal trend, this is the normal practice. However, when this strategy or this kind is being done in a manner that is unfair, in a manner that disrespects the principles of genuine business competition, when this is done to undercut some businesses, it becomes a challenge. Then it becomes a concern for us when the consumer that naturally is king in all this is now being restricted in terms of choice. When the options available to a consumer is now being seriously limited, and when the natural choice of a consumer is being manipulated and coerced into an allegiance to a product that ordinarily would not be his or her favorite, then it becomes a concern for us. And it is like the case of when the desirable is not available, the available becomes desirable. And for us, the protection of the consumer is our primary goal. And when this begins to happen, then we are concerned. And that is the reason for this advocacy. For us to seek to protect the consumer, who we consider as king in all this, who should thrive in a fair and competitive market, because then marketers want to please the consumer. So naturally, consumer should be king, and consumer should not be used as pawn in this business.
So how did you know about this issue of ambushing? Were you doing some kind of research and then you came to discover that there were companies that were ambushing customers or potential customers and pretty much railroading them into specific products? How did you know what got you into this realm of business?
Like the name is, Consumer Advocacy Network is a network of NGOs and civil society groups that work in that area. We are a membership-based organizations who deal with different categories of consumers, and we have been receiving reports, okay, from distributors, from customers, and we have our own internal mechanism of, like I would say, indicators on threshold to know that we receive a lot of complaints, not just on the beverage industry, but when we use our own internal mechanisms to test and we see the level of action, then we know it is time to speak out. And like I did inform, so we got to know about this from complaints, basically from complaints, the response directly to your question. We got to know about this from complaints, from reports coming to our members from different parts, but more in the Southwest. Okay? So when we found out, we did some checks, we called up members, and we saw that it was almost a trend going round, and we were worried because it could get worse. Consumers are already suffering, and it could get worse.
Is there a specific set of products that you have concerns about?
Yes.
Beverages or other products as
no,
well?
yes, alcoholic beverages.
Okay.
And a particular brand of malt. And I mean, for example, a consumer wants to get a particular kind of drink based on certain conditions that the consumer would like. Let's say, for example, this is just an example. A consumer would not like to take a certain kind of malt because probably has more sugar than another kind of malt. Okay? Now, if the consumer can't get that malt, he is now constrained to take that other one that probably will not be very good for himself or herself. So these are the issues. But basically in the alcoholic beverage industry and malt drinks. So that's where we have bulk of it. But bulk of it is in the alcoholic beverage industry. And so we do get a lot of complaints. We got a lot of reports. And our members, we had to look. We did a check and we felt it was high time that we speak about this and just to make sure that things don't get out of hand, because there are long-term implications for this.
Some of us might be a bit naive about some of these issues, but since you are into advocacy, would you say that there are times when this really gets quite nasty and serious, where you have people ambushing and having malicious marketing? Does it really exist? I haven't seen any.
Fine, you may not have seen because, yeah, like you said, you could be naive and you will feel